I think I'm going to need to tape this headset. For some reason, one of the ears falls away from the thing that connects to it, and you can see the wire inside the things that connect, so it's probably going to affect the wire if it keeps slipping off, but it's one of those things where I keep forgetting to do it, and I don't have a lot of luck with these headsets, nor with the customer services associated with them. So I'd just like to remind people, please don't buy Triton headsets or in any way support Triton, because they're utter garbage. And as far as Mad Cat's customer services go, you're utter dog shit too. Thanks for listening, and goodbye. So I'm going to do a little bit of running around, because I'm at the precipice now where I have to stop recording, but I don't know when. It's very shortly, and it'll probably be any time now. So if this is like a 5-minute episode tacked on to the last one, you'll know why. Or you might not know, because it'll be seamless. But we might as well fight this guy. We must remind ourselves we're using proper weapons too, so once we've hit him for some good damage, we're going to swap to the capture weapons. Or the gimp weapons, as they should be called. That being said, we're doing some pretty nice crits with these. It's kind of crazy, actually. Can we delay this guy? Oh, we've just gone around the sphere grid, haven't we? So there's no wonder why we're doing a little bit more damage. We've powered up a bit. Then he does that. Gets himself some armour. Whacker's still on the weak side. He's nowhere near as advanced as the other two. This shouldn't kill now. Oh, it does. Never mind. So that's still incredibly devastating. Oh, hang on a second. There's not a chest in this room. I remember there being... Yeah, there is. Ooh, I think that's a sword. There's no way of getting back up there. I don't think. Uh-oh. Ooh, guess what? Titus just learnt this. Somebody's about to go flying, son. Oh, wrong one. See you later. Oh, never gets old. It will probably never stop amusing me. But what we'll do, seeing as how we can't go back round that other way, instead of exploring this place and fighting stupidly high level monsters, levelling up a ton inadvertently, we're going to go back to Besaid. And you're probably like, oh, don't do that, Chris, there's Dark Veilfall. There is Dark Veilfall, but we're not going that far in. We're going to grab some of the monsters on the road while we've got a moment. Not the most riveting thing, but it's a thing that doesn't matter if it ends immediately. Ooh, I can get there now. I wonder what that is. Or I've already been there. And it was a lance for Kimari. I think it was a lance for Kimari. Oh, my legs are so warm. It's the only problem when you wear sweatpants. They don't half trap the heat. They're comfortable, but they trap heat. Wrong way. I get to listen to the optimistically ruined song of this. Yeah, this is terrible compared to original. Dun 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 bum bum. Okay. So there's a condor and there's a flan. I think there's only 3 creatures here. There's the dingo thing, and there's those 2. Oh, as if. Cheeky bugger. Yeah, this is the easiest area to complete to get 10 of each creature. Still, you know, quite an effort because you have to kill them 10 times. But in the grand scheme of things, it's considerably better than some. And that's the one you want. Oh, the bird didn't swoop in. That would have been perfect if the bird had swooped in, but alas, it did not. I mean, maybe these are those passwords that it was talking about. So maybe if we read this, it tells us a password. Kilika and Bicanal join as one. Oh. That looks like one of those places you can come on the airship if you know a password. Treasure chests and everything. I'll probably look those up tonight because I can't remember them. Can you even get random battles here? Can't remember. Can you get them here? Don't know if you can get them here. Well, let's go back onto that other place then. A lot of people are asking me if I'm going to do a Bloodborne live playthrough. I've said on countless videos, countless tweets, all addressing this. Even on my Bloodborne videos I've said this, that I'm doing a blind playthrough to Bloodborne, yet people persist on asking, and I know it's not meant to annoy or anything, it's just when you get a dozen of them a day, it's like, if you really want to know the nuance of the channel, the best thing to do is to watch the channel. I know not everybody has the time to do it, but they seem to think I have the time to respond to everything, which is unrealistic of them to expect either. It can just be difficult to voice those opinions because everybody seems to think that you should be grateful for everything, and there's a measure of gratitude that always comes with support, but at the same time there's a realistic edge of it where you've got to be like, this is unrealistic. Like all the people that asked me to duel on Dark Souls 1. It's like, did you... Oh, what have I done? Fucking hell. I was holding the analog. I was messing with the analog while I was pressing X. Changed my weapon, didn't I? I blame Titus, yet it was me. Boom, 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 boom. We seem to be getting really unlucky with this, because if you can get all three at the same time, you can knock it out in 10 battles. But it looks like we're going to be fighting over the dingoes, because the dingoes seem to be a little bit rarer than these two. I don't know if there's anything to it though, because there's certain parts where standing in certain positions seem to have more luck than others, and vice versa, like stepping in light areas of texture rather than dark areas of texture. You know, this bit here, maybe I'll get one in the light as opposed to over here in the shadow, and it's like, I have no idea if there is some kind of math to it or probability sequence, but we'll stay in the shadow to see if we get another dingo. Who knows, maybe there is a math to it. Because there's a place in the cave of the Stolen Faith where I always get tomberries. Like, I seem to get the most amount of tomberries when I run around a certain patch of darkened earth. And it's just one of those things I remembered from having to do this before. Like, you see what I mean? It kind of looks like we're going to get dingoes if we stay on this patch. But it's probably nothing to do with that. It's probably just literally the randomness of it, the luck, the disparity. But we're animals, we're humans, and our minds work in such a way that we constantly look for patterns, and here's a pattern for us. Stand in the dark area, get the one we want. It might have literally nothing to do with anything other than just wishfulness and wishful thinking. But it kind of looks like it works, doesn't it? There goes the Conda. The luxury here is you're not going to be getting too many sphere levels doing these areas. Doing that final area, I'll get a level every single time I win. 1 to 2 levels guaranteed. See, there you go, different. So, technically, it's just RNG. And RNG sucks. But we're now in the middle of January. There's no releases aside from the Resident Evil remake. There's no releases in February, I don't think. And in March, there's Bloodborne and there's the Final Fantasy Type 0, which I'm really excited for. I have no idea what it's going to be like. I don't understand how they can charge full price for a PSP port, but once again, Square Enix, they know what the people want, which is a PlayStation 4 up-resed version of Final Fantasy VII. I know. Please take a seat before you fall down. What a joke that is. If you want an up-res version of Final Fantasy VII, get it on Steam and install the mods that people took their hard-earned time and effort to make, and then realise that Square can't be asked to do that, so instead they're just going to tweak a few values. Unbelievable. And you can't win, can you? You've got Capcom releasing 9 million iterations of the same game for 10-year streaks, like Street Fighter and what have you. But then you have the opposite, where they just refuse to update it. There's no middle ground. Like, should a game be left on its own once it's out, just left to be what it is? Or should they let George Lucas go back in and dump a load of special effects on stuff and ruin it? There's no happy medium. It's like writing. Whenever you edit something, you have to tell yourself to stop, because if you don't, you'll never stop. You will be editing it for the rest of your life, because it fluctuates like a mood. It's like any art. You do something and at the time it feels like the best thing you've ever done, and then you look at it a couple of years down the line and it looks like a child did it. Because it's this constant pursuit of greatness, this constant pursuit of progression and improvement. Much like anything worth doing. And it's that kind of fulfillment that you can literally get from any hobby or any pastime. Which is why I always find it grossly ignorant when people are like, oh, you've spent X amount of time doing X, you're so sad, get a life. Like, how is doing what you class life things, how are they more valid or important than anything else you choose to do? Like, look at monks. Monks decide to give up all, selfish pursuits. They choose to be pure and selfless and empty themselves of all that kind of nonsense, and instead they live a quiet life of, hermetic meditation, which to some people would be doing absolutely nothing all the time, but to them there is no closer way to be to God, than to be a pillar of purity. So I suppose it's just the nature of hypocrisy in the human animal. Come on, dingoes. Speaking of animals. Yeah, we only need dingoes now and we're good. But this will be one of those videos that you either like the kind or you hate. Some people don't want to see the miscellaneous nonsense. Other people want to see all of it. Like, they're probably still mad at me for not showing that Chocobo race, and when I failed like 15 times before I got 16 balloons and hit one bird. I'm also coming to realise that I'm probably going to have to do Blitzball, because Penance is a very long fight without attack reels, and it's a very challenging fight too. That's what I need to do as well. I need to research Riku's mixes. I need to find out what all the best ones are and memorise them. That's annoying.
I'll be right back.
It'd be nice if you caught one of them, if you could go to the arena and just catch it repeatedly, fighting it in the arena. A way to break the catching animals thing. Because then it'd be a really quick way of doing it rather than this. Because when we get to Josei High Road and we're doing the simmer, I remember that thing taking me months to catch, because I just couldn't get the RNG I needed. Month might be an exaggeration, but it felt like it. But I got the Tomberries quite quick, so that was good. But there's Master Tomberries in Omega, and they take forever, unless you're very lucky. And then, of course, in Sin, there's a couple of pretty rare ones in Sin too. But this has been quite kind. I don't mind this kind of luck. And we're done.
I won't go so easy on you next time.
Right, fastest way out from here, this way. Hit the save point. I wish I could drop down there and get that one. That was one of the things I always thought was funny about 12. This game was kind of linear. And each of the areas, except for maybe Gagazet and inside of Sin, were pretty short and brief. They were never too long. Mihen High Road maybe, you know, overstayed its welcome a little bit, but not too much. And then 12 came along, and there's almost a counter those accusations of linearity and small areas and just one straight line. They made every zone massive. Every zone took like an hour to walk through it. And there was branching paths. The amount of times you went into a place where you weren't supposed to go was endless. And on that game, it wasn't like skill could persevere and get you through a zone you weren't meant to be in. It wasn't like Dark Souls where you could just skillfully evade. It was, you hope to God that the enemies, they're all going to one-shot you, don't touch you. Because if they do, you're going to have a gangbanger of them chasing you, and you're going to run yourself into a dead end unless you know exactly where you're going. And that happened a lot on that game. But I'll still defend 12. 12 is a great game compared to 13. I just think it's a poor game compared to the ones that were before it. And that's just because I don't like the whole MMO thing they went for with it. Right, let's go to Kilika.
Here we go!
Got about 5 minutes left of this video. I might as well use it to bang on some fiends. Maybe a little bit longer depending on said variables. Oh, they fixed it. Look at that. That looks awesome. I should really explore, but we're going to go towards the temple. I do like the guitar of this tune. It's got some nice, like, tapping of the guitar. The actual guitar itself, not the frets. Is it called slapping? I don't know the technical term. But here's another password, maybe. First. Is that a word? That can't be a word. Look at that. When have you ever ran that far without getting a battle ever in your life? Never. But when you want them, you don't get them. So gold elements and killer bees. There's also one of those yaoi-esque creatures here. There might be an Ochu, I'm not too sure. Probably the armoured thing, probably a wasp of some kind. Ah, this thing as well, this is quite frequent. A Ragora. You might wonder why I'm doing this. Well, one of them is to get the rewards you get from collecting 10 of every fiend in every area. Not only will it enable us to fight creatures that give us sphere grid items that are incredibly important to making our characters stronger, but it'll also give us things to upgrade our weapons with to make our characters stronger. So it is worthwhile, it's just maybe a little bit tedious for people who don't like doing this kind of thing. And I completely understand it because I hated doing it. But I only hated it when it was a rare animal. When it's stuff that shows up, and it shows up reliable, there's nothing wrong with it. It's when it doesn't. That's when this becomes a job. It becomes work. Pretty much like farming any item on Final Fantasy XII. It is literally just dullness. I always found it really cathartic coming back through these areas and ruining enemies that previously gave you a bit of a fight. Believe it or not, there comes a time in this game where you can do this to the Omega Ruins and Inside of Sin, and it's not too far away. It's just it feels far away when you first go there and you have no context for what truly being strong in this game means. But one of the things I would have liked them to have added was a menu, maybe, somewhere on here. I have no idea where they'd put it. Like an information tab or something, which enabled you to look at what the Beastmaster in the Calmlands has, so you can see which ones you're missing. Because you literally have to go to his house and click on the menus to see which fiends you've missed, or which ones you need. And it's incredibly archaic, but what can you do? Like I said, it's a fantastic game for a desert island because there is so much to do. So much to get lost in. But this will probably be the 4th time I've powered up in this game. And when I say powered up, I mean captured all the animals and remapped my sphere grid so that it's got better stats on it. I've killed Penance twice, both times without Zanmato. I've killed the Dark Aeons dozens of times because they're just really fun to fight. So I've done a lot with this game, but it was all a very long time ago, and it feels just as fresh as the first time I did it. Which is a sign, I think, of a truly great game. And I think that's what I miss the most. Like, the last truly great RPG experience I had of an RPG that I class as RPGs, which is kind of turn-based, you're kind of running around towns and dungeons, talking to people and then defeating tons of bosses. Preferably in a Japanese style, not like a Western style. Would have been Star Ocean or Infinite Undiscovery. And that was a very long time since I enjoyed those games. Because somewhere along the lines, Japan got it into their head that they had to change their design philosophy to match the West, so that they could compete with Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed and whatever else falls off the assembly line of uninspiring dribble. Which is kind of funny because the entire theory and design ethic behind RPGs has been the same since the SNES. But I never get bored of it, because I love them. And maybe that's how people feel about Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, I don't know. I wish I could, I've just got a little bit fatigued with those. Whereas the Final Fantasies that I enjoy, even the ones I don't, I could still probably play again and get a lot of enjoyment from them. It's like a book you really like, that you read every year. There's just something about that experience that it never gets old, regardless of how many times you traverse it. Once again, I was looking at the computer, then spinning the analog, and I did a move. If you're wondering why I did that, I didn't mean to. I was just double checking my capture device. But not the most interesting thing to watch. We've had some tangents. But this is what I'm going to be doing tonight in all the areas that I have yet to visit. I'll be watching probably speedruns from the AGDQ 2015. Or some streams if there's any Street Fighter on, something like that. Or just the YouTubers that I'm subscribed to, if they've got any videos out. And I do have a couple of films worth watching, so I might put those on in the background. That's a good thing about the turn-based battling in this one. You can literally be surfing the internet pressing X. and you can get shit done. Which could have definitely done with that when I was younger. Might have become a more intelligent person if I'd have had such information at a younger age. Are we anywhere close to... No, still no capture limit on any of these yet. We must be close. Maybe 7. At about 7 or 8. Question is there anything rare here? I should really bring the wiki up. I think we've pretty much seen everything we need. That was a capture limit on the yellow elemental. So that's good to see. Then it gets a little bit frustrating then because you want the other things and you get the elemental. At least this place is kind of fun to run around. There's a couple of different paths to traverse. Have we got all the Regoras yet? No, not yet. The airship's going to make this really convenient, because running back through all the places was a pain in the ass. When we were at Mount Gagazet after Seymour, when we came back and saved, I ran all the way back to Guado Salam to see if I could get back to Josie Highway to capture fiends. But in the area that leads to Guado Salam, they were on about how it would be overrun with Guados and that might be a problem, and it wouldn't let me. So there's a limit to you can backtrack. But I was able to touch the Cactua statues in the Thunder Plains, and I was able to capture 10 of those. If only they gave you the money that they do in 13.2, or 13 Lightning Returns, whatever that one's called. Could do with a couple more of those for Regoras, we'll have that knocked out in no time. But feel free to skip this episode, because this is miscellaneous. At this part, anyway. Is it capture limit? No, still another one.
Live and let live.
It's a live and let die. Live and let die. How close are we with the bees? Close-ish, I guess. Might as well kill it because it's quicker than skipping turn to flee. Is that the end of you? That's the end of you. So now we can skip that fight altogether.
I won't go so easy on you next time.
So we need Regoras and more wasps. And we pray that there's no crazy math debt or out like that knocking about. Well, that could be the last one of him. It is indeed. No more Regoras needed, so we just need wasps. Or bees, sorry. They don't look like bees, do they? They look like wasps. Bees are kind of fat, and they wear jumpers, and they look awesome. Whereas wasps are elongated, they've got those big arses, and they've got sharper lines, they're more menacing looking. That looks like a wasp. But the bestiary calls them bees, so we shall call them bees as well. Let's have a look up here. That's where that chest was so long ago. 67 parts ago. This could be the last bee we need. Yay, I think we've got everyone.
I'll be right back.
So it didn't take too long. But these are the areas that are actually really simple to do. That being said, I could have missed a completely rare guy that only spawns close to the temple. I don't know. We'll find out later on. But that's the end, I think, of this one. And then in the next one, we'll be taking on the final boss.